Alright everyone, and so I've seen Elio. This is Pixar's new original film that is centered around a cosmic space adventure. It is out of this world with this boy that's being abducted by aliens and trying to be like the ambassador to the alien race and trying to fit in. And for what I'm about to say here, Pixar nailed it, especially with their concept, what they were trying to pitch to us, to the audience. And I'm about to see it right here. So this will be my full non-spoiler review for the movie, go up for what I liked, even for what I did not like. And this is a true winner for Pixar, especially it pitching more original ideas. And so, if you're new there, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so I'll be any future videos, including movie reviews for the summer movie season, but including this one. But now, let's get into it right now. And now, when it comes to Pixar, and if you know their stuff, especially for what they put out back in the day, and for what they are known for is, of course, the storytelling, emotions, characters we can relate to, and for what it sets itself up towards the end of every movie, it's, of course, to get the waterworks going. But when it comes to a concept for an original movie, and for what they put out recently, it's sort of been lacking lately, but because Pixar weren't what they used to be, especially with their iconic movies. Now, when it comes to a movie like Elio, it is an original movie, and it is mostly described as an out-of-this-world cosmic space adventure, and it's about this kid that has an overactive imagination who is obsessed with aliens, and that is somehow wants to be abducted by aliens, and that's what that happens, and is being taken into their colony, their alien race, and Elio wants to be accepted as Earth's ambassador and wants to do everything that he can to do that. And now, especially for an original film like this, it really opens itself up to take you on an adventure that is unusual. For what does that mean? Well, it's especially with the type of storytelling and concept for what they were going here. And I mean, I get like a sort of ideas that they were throwing out left and right, and with the theme and the sort of like what it wants to tell itself to the audience. It's sort of like something new that they brought to the table, sort of like out of the box thinking, and especially with a character like Elio, who seems to be like unique, and he has lessons to be learned in this movie. And even for when he does get sent up to the alien race to be abducted and sent up as their leader, and he wants to be accepted, and that's something that people can relate to in real life. And even though I had emotions even throughout parts of the movie, and to me, I really liked it. Even though it is really good, and Pixar really does its job of setting in the emotions of what the viewer can have towards the movie, especially towards the end when it comes to a movie like this. But even though I have a few nitpicks and issues that I had with this film, but I get that it is an original concept for what they were trying to go with here, but they did a really good job, and I think it's a really refreshing take on the entire franchise, and I think it's what Pixar like thought of. And with the idea of it being a space adventure, I loved it. I loved learning about that all throughout this movie, and the out of this world feel, it definitely goes for the storytelling that Pixar loves to do. And with the type of themes that are being explored here, is like being unique, being alone, and exploring who you are. That's what they showcased. And with Elio, that like learns like for how he can be like fit in, because that's who his character does, especially from beginning, middle, and end. Like, Elio has something different about himself that I sort of bought into, and like, especially as like we all grew up having an overactive imagination and feeling like if we've been felt left out. But for the way that Pixar tackles this sort of idea, but being set up as like a cosmic adventure in outer space, and that's what I really fell in love with. But I think with like some issues that I have is sort of like the middle half is sort of like enticing, especially with the story chunks, that there was a ton of reworking. And even though that this film was supposed to come out last year, and it's been delayed like so many times, and that's why people aren't familiar with this movie, but I can definitely tell, like, in terms of writing, that they did a very good job of establishing the storytelling, setting up like so much love for how characters are developed as an original movie from Pixar. And I think this is a winner, but I mean, especially I don't think people will give it a chance. For me, it has a ton of heart, and even though I love Pixar movies and I really love getting emotional towards the end, and that's what it sets up here towards the end of the movie, I kind of feel like things definitely get resolved. And for what Elio learns throughout the movie is like trying to step out there and trying to make friends, and also to what he has for his imagination, especially with his obsession towards space and aliens and connecting himself out into the world. And that's what I really felt like here. It seems that like people are really going to connect with this character and with the storytelling alone, and that's what I really fell in love with. But I can definitely tell for where Pixar was coming out with here for when they were originally pitching the concept, but especially if you know their original idea before the new one was added, I can see for what type of the direction and they were going out with here. I don't know if I'm gonna forget this movie in like a week or two, but I'll definitely come back and revisit this film. But even though it does not hit the same as the other Pixar movies back in the day, which I grew up watching, but especially for an original film like this, I think they did a good job. I think they knocked it out of the park. It's just a great take for the concept of a fun space adventure with trying to be learning who you are and trying to be out there and trying to be unique. Yeah, they were definitely going for something that's original, but it just did not hit the same. But I definitely feel like it was a good, solid movie in my opinion. Yeah, it is a good movie from Pixar, and just go out and see this movie, especially if you love outer space, if you love the themes of like being unique and like trying to fitting in. You'll definitely fall in love with the storytelling and the characters, and trust me, you'll have emotions towards the end of the film. I got emotions throughout parts of the movie, especially towards the end. I think I had a somewhat satisfying feel when the credits roll. For my final consensus and thoughts, I liked Elio. I thought it was a good concept for an original movie set in space. It's like you're not alone, and being like who you are, expressing yourself for what you have with your imagination. And yeah, I can definitely relate to the storytelling, and people will definitely relate to it as well. Yeah, this is a fun movie that you have to see with the family, and it's just an out of this world adventure from Pixar that will pull on your heartstrings as well. But that's gonna do it for this video. Just let me know in the comments down below, and if you got around to seeing Elio, or if you plan on seeing it, and give you a rating between 1 out of 10. I'm curious to hear your opinion in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to notifications about future videos, and also follow all my social medias all linked down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.